Hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and we are live on a Friday evening, which means it's time for me to talk about coping with life. And on Friday evenings, we talk about coping with life on a limited budget and how to buy cheaply or more cheaply and make more for less. And I nearly always do it with leftovers, my leftover vegetables for the week. And today I raided my deep freeze to see what have I got in there that I need to start using up. In fact, I did it yesterday and I pulled out two baggies. I think you all know when I put food into my freezer, I put it in there in one serving lot. So if I'm just doing a meal for myself, I bring out one serving. If I've got people coming, I will bring out as many servings as I need of that. And I really do recommend it. And I do it in, you're pretty sure that this is a baggie that I use for a serving. And as you know, for meat, it is 3 to 4 ounces of meat is a serving, not the 6 to 8. So what I did is I pulled out some beef cubes and I wanted to show you, there's so many different things you can do with them. I actually picked them up when they went on sale. And the beef cubes are normally quite nice quality meat. It's the sort of when they're cutting the steaks up and they're getting them into the right size, they have little bits left over, and that ends up in the cubes. So I really recommend that you have a look at that. I can't remember what the initial price was, but I know it was a very good deal, and that's why I bought it that way. So first of all, let me show you what I've been doing. This is one lot. I've had both amounts of beef marinating in yogurt. Now, I always like to have this moment with where we discuss healthier eating. Why is it a good idea to marinate your meat in yogurt? Do you know? First of all, it's a really good way to marinate your meat. Whereas if you use citrus and stuff, it's inclined to get pretty tough. But when you're using yogurt, and if you let it sit in there for quite a while, it really tenderizes it slowly and beautifully. So let's talk a bit about yogurt. Yogurt has really good stuff in it. I think you all know that. It's got calcium and vitamins and proteins, and it obviously has probiotics, which help your stomach stuff. But if you cook it, you will have everything but the probiotics left in there. All right. So if you do heat it up, you're going to kill the probiotics. But the main thing is, question: do you need to throw this away, the marinade away, or can you cook with it? Do you know that? In other words, it's been sitting there in the fridge like this for a few hours. And what is your guess? Now, Isabel says not to cook with it. Funny enough, you can. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one with and one without. So with this one, I'm going to drop this into some water so that I can rinse the yogurt off. So the yogurt has done the job that it needs to do. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to suggest that you think about um, cook once, eat twice. That's our mantra for today. Cook once, eat twice. So I'm going to, does it make sense that if I'm going to do a meal with cube steak, I could make two different meals at the same time, just using probably the same vegetables, but different seasonings and things. Does that make sense? So today, what I'm going to show you is using the same sort of base vegetables and everything else. I'm going to cook two different forms of this. Right, Jody said her first instinct was to be cautious with it, yes. But you can cook with it. I double check that. Wow. That's sorry to hear that. Kimmy's saying that she's got a problem with her local supermarket. Their food is making people sick. Wow. I'm sorry to hear that. All right. But that's the community person that you are. I know that. All right. So we've got this meat. And now what I'm going to do, because I've taken it out of the yogurt, is I'm now going to cover it with, and you've got a choice here. You can use flour, you can use cornstarch, or you can use, I use Bisto, as you know, which is basically a cornstarch mixture. So I'm just going to put some of that in here. And the reason that we're going to do that is so that it absorbs any meat liquid, that's coming out of the meat here. So we're going to throw that in. And whilst I'm doing that, I'm going to no, I'm not going to use that today. I'm going to use this. I'm going to throw in some Montreal steak spice because I always like that when I'm doing this sort of a meal. And then these are the bags that I get my fruit in from the supermarket, so I always keep those. They're great for doing this job. Turns a one-use plastic into a two-use plastic. So just literally just shake it up until you've got it covered. And it's looking pretty good. I'm going to do all of this in my air fryer because I've never done this sort of a meal in my air fryer before. So it's an experiment for me. Got a little bit of that left over. So I'm just going to pop that into the air fryer at about 350 and let that quickly cook up. Kimmy's saying they're not handling the food correctly. Yes, that's always a very dangerous thing when they're not doing that. I'm certain that the mother company will be pleased to know that. Do you have proof that it is them, not the supplier to them? So be careful before you accuse somebody of that you know for sure where, because it could be the supplier to them, the problem could be there. Like in salads, it can be the lettuce and stuff, or in meats, it can be, that the person who packaged the meat could have been the problem, not necessarily the supermarket. So just be careful not to blame the wrong people. And I would say let them know that there is a problem and you're not sure where it's coming from. Let them sort out whether they're to blame or somebody else is. Makes sense, Kimmy. It could save you a lawsuit. All right, so we know that yogurt is good for us and it's great. By the way, you can use yogurt to marinate chicken or any other turkey, anything else like that. It's not just for beef. And I was surprised that you could use it in, either with or without. Now, so we're going to do two different meals. But what I was thinking of, can you think of how many different meals you could make with cubed beef? And that's what I wanted to do, is to make sure that we understand that there are so many different things that you can do with cubed beef. It's just really your imagination. I thought about, if I was feeling like a curry type meal, that I could do a beef korma, for example, Or there's part of me that went, what about Mongolian beef? All right. Or how about Korean beef? You know, there's so many different ways to go. Now, I'm a Brit from way back. I'm now a Canadian, but so to me, I'm just going to go with two of my favorites here. I'm going to make a beef, what should I call it? Well, I don't know. You call it a beef bake, really. I'm just going to put in the beef and vegetables and some liquid with it, and then I'm going to cover it with slices of potato and let it bake. All right, easy enough. So that's a very easy one. And the other one I'm going to do, because I'm really craving it today, and I don't know why, but I want to do crispy beef, sort of Chinese crispy beef. You know what I mean? With broccoli, healthy. That would be healthy. I haven't been doing well on my health today, so I thought that would be a good thing to do. So now then, what I have done in advance is I've shredded some orange peel. Oh, Jody's saying I might have missed out what kind of beef you're using. Am I using beef tips or stew beef? The answer would be yes. I can't remember what it was, and I didn't mark it properly. All I know is that it's cubed beef. Okay? All right, so I've got, this is for the sort of crispy beef. I've got some orange peel. Really smells great. I've got a cup of vegetables here. For here. I've got some freshly ground up ginger. Okay. I need some cornstarch for that. I'm going to need some green onion. And that's, and then a selection of things to make the sauce for that. Yeah, Jody's going, it's beef. That'll do. Yeah. All I know it's beef cubes. Can't get more technical than that. And I did get it on sale. So I think it's important to know that you could sort of make all these servings of the cubes pre-cooked and then just add sauces to them to change the variety. But we're going to do two. So the first one, I've also got to admit that this afternoon I slow cooked some onions. It smells so good. Now, some I will use in tonight's meals, and the rest I will keep so that I can use them during the week. So that's how I cook up my one onion. That's a big red onion. And I literally had it cooking very slowly this afternoon while I was doing some stuff. So great for multitasking. But it tastes so much better if you just let them cook slowly, I believe. Now, I wanted to find out if you know about how to make beef crispy. Are any of you experts at that? And because, that was one thing that always amazed me is how come when you buy it at the Chinese place that it's always nice and crispy? And so I thought you might want to know what the secret is. So I did a bit of research this afternoon. The secret is when you coat the beef, don't coat it once. In other words, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the yogurt on just as an experiment. I'm going to coat it with cornstarch. All right. And, interesting. Kimmy's saying she uses gluten-free breadcrumbs to do hers. Interesting. All right. So what I'm going to do is I am going to leave the yogurt on the second lot. I'm going to then mix it up with cornstarch, and I'm going to throw some little bits of that orange peel in there and some little bits of the ginger. Are you getting hungry already? I am. So let's do that. So that's our second bag. This is our first one. Actually, there's no reason at all why we couldn't use what's left of here, now that I think about it. No reason at all. So let's put a bit of cornstarch in there, just to add to it. Basically, it's the same thing. Now we know this is going to turn out to be a gooey mess. You know that's half the fun. I'll just turn it over first. Just incorporate it a bit more before I do all of this. There we go. And I didn't put a whole lot of yogurt in, but I certainly put enough in that I could easily coat all of the meat. All right, so we'll put that in last, but I thought we'd put in, let's put in I've got a bit of sort of it's like a lemon pepper salt mix. So I'm going to throw a bit of that in because it's Friday. I can do that on Fridays. We're going to put in a little bit of the orange peel. We'll use a bit more later. And I'm going to need more of that. Okay. There we go. Like playing mud pies, people. But I'm going to tell you how to make it good and crispy. Looks like I might need some more cornstarch today. Now, if you notice, I'm just putting a few bits of meat in at a time because I don't want them to all clump up together. So there's method in that madness. Okay. Maybe there. Put a couple more bits. 1, 2, 3. So that was pretty easy. And not nearly as gooey as I thought it was going to be. But here is what I found out. All right. The trick is, can you see that some of the bits that we coated at the beginning have already started to change color? Because the liquids are soaking up the moisture. Can you see that? And the trick is, if you want to have really crispy stuff, do exactly the same thing a second or third time, as many times as it takes until you just end up with them looking like that. Does that make sense? Apparently that's the secret. So, throw in some more of this. I'm going to throw in a bit more of the orange peel. A bit more of the spice. Okay, and let's give it a second go, see how we do. Now, it sort of makes sense to me, but quite honestly, I would never have done them twice. So, what about you guys? So don't be afraid to overcoat them, would be the rule here. Trying to separate the new ones and the old ones here. Thought there was another one. Okay, so that's done twice. And now you can see this one here is already seeping through again, so I'm going to do that again. Jody's saying, I never coat beef twice, but it makes such sense. I always toss my chicken twice, so why not beef? Exactly. So I've got a couple that are still need more. And it's not just twice, it's as many as it takes until it's absorbed any liquid that is seeping out. There we go, that one's good. That one's good. A bit more on that one. Yum. Oh, that's what I need. Now, this is the original beef that I used, so it's pretty well cooked already, but we're just going to throw it in there. Yum. I might need a bigger bowl. And now we can put these to cook while we work with this one. And that was just about the right temperature. I did on my air fryer, I think I did 15 minutes at 350. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do 10 minutes and turn them for another 5, maybe a bit more, okay? Now then, these are pre-cooked cubes of beef. I might need a bigger bowl. Maybe I'll do it in here. I'm looking at this and going, now this is how much I've changed. Can you see how much meat there is in there? I'm now saying to myself, that is enough for 2 meals for me, not 1. Isn't that amazing? 2 years ago, that would have been 1 meal. So what I'm going to do is put it in a bigger bowl, like this. And the first thing I'm going to add to it is onion. Ah, smells so good, people. And I'm just going to mix that all up together. I think some of you know that I have got this. Did I bring it out? No. This is a beef broth with wine, red wine in it. So we're going to put that in. Then I have got the vegetables. And those are my go-to vegetables. I've got carrots, leeks, obviously got the onions at the bottom, celery, red peppers, and yellow peppers. All right? Yes, it is like a boeuf bourguignon. I would agree. However, now we're going to add, I'm going to add a little bit of cilantro in there. Oh no, parsley. Parsley is what I've got here. So some of my dried parsley. I dried in the summer. Going to need more liquid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and turn it into a paste, more of a paste, and then put that in there as well. All good stuff. Rather than throw it in down the sink, let's use it. It's going to be good. I've got some green onion that I'm busy growing, as you know. With my fancy scissors. I'm going to put some of that in. I love this thing. So basically what I call a very British dish, right? Not a whole lot to it. What did I forget? Anything? I don't think so. All right, now what I'm going to do is I've got a potato here, and I'm just going to I'm going to slice it very finely. All right? Jodie's saying very handy, the herb scissors. I didn't think they would be, but yes, they are. Oh, another thing, bay leaf. How many of you use a bay leaf when you're cooking beef? So good. So I'm just going to stick that in. Don't eat it. When you go to eat it, pull it out, but put it in there for the flavor. Yeah. I'm not going to take the peel off the potato. It's all good fiber. Look at that. Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but I like to keep the plastic lids of things just so that I can put things on them. So that's looking pretty good. I'm going to spritz it with a little bit of oil on top. And we'll spritz that again later, and then we'll put some more just black pepper, I think, on top of that. And we're going to cover it. How many of you reuse your foil? Okay. I've probably been using this piece of foil for about 2 years. Just a thought. What's for dinner tonight? We are cooking 2 lots of beef cubes. One of them is a spicy, crispy beef, and the with broccoli, and the other is a beef. Um, what do you could call it? A beef bake. It's just got all the stuff in it, and then potatoes on top, and we're baking everything. So that's the one that's just going to go in. I'm about to pull out the spicy beef because we're going to make the sauce to go with it. See how it's doing. And I got news for you, and I look at that. That's enough for 2 meals as well. Isn't that amazing how I've changed? Wow, can't believe that. All right, so um, just going to give that another. I've just mushed it all up and going to give it another 5 minutes. And yes, it is looking fairly crispy, I must admit. Now, what we're going to do is just basically steam some broccoli in the microwave. Nothing fancy about that. I need to use up some of the vegetables in my freezer. So you're going to watch me do a lot of that in the coming weeks. And then we're just about there. Now then, I also found a lot of bread, sliced bread in my freezer. And I decided to pull that out and turn it into breadcrumbs. And Kimmy made a good point, which is I could have coated the beef in breadcrumbs, but I knew what I was going to use breadcrumbs for. Hi, Sharon. Sharon's saying, if I can't get on here in time, then I get here when I can. I appreciate that. All right. So now what I'm going to do with the breadcrumbs is, because it's Friday and that's my day I can have whatever I like. I'm going to make myself it's called Queen's pudding. Some of you have seen me make that before. And these are just my sourdough breadcrumbs. And all I did is I put the bread into my Ninja and pulverized it until it became breadcrumbs. And I will keep the coffee filter on top here for quite a while. I'll let it sit out in the kitchen, but probably at least a week or so that any moisture that might be in here will evaporate, especially now that my furnace is down. So, and I'll probably put it in for another while to let it just on a very low heat to just get any moisture out of it. All right, so that's it. So here we go. This is really simple to do. And a great way to use up breadcrumbs. Very tasty. Going to use some 2% milk. And what you want is the bread to absorb the milk. Good. Hang on a second. And I'm going to put in an egg. So come on. That did not want to come out. Come on. Thank you. Jody, would you remind us why it's a good idea to throw some cinnamon in? Even though I would not normally have done that, I now do it. The other thing, I have choices. I could use sugar. I can use sweetener, or I could use honey. Which one is best? Or, as a fourth option, I could use this agave syrup. Here we go. That's my choice for today. Throw some of that in there just to sweeten it up. And then we're going to throw this mixture in. The egg in here will help bind all this together. Great way to use up old bread. Now, this is not the way that my mommy used to make it, but I'm adding cranberries in. Just so it's a bit of fruit in there. Also add to the sweetness. Now, I won't have time to cook this and show you, but when I put that in, I'm going to put it in to cook while I eat. And that will form like almost a cake. That's what it's going to look like. And once that has happened, I will then put a thin layer of no sugar added jam on top of it. And if I'm feeling really decadent, I will make meringue and put it over the top of that. All right? And that is a true Queen's pudding with the meringue on it. Sometimes I don't put the meringue, but that's just it. So this will keep absorbing the moisture. Yeah, it looks pretty done to me. So these are our beef bits, and they're already cooked, so I'm going to keep those warm. I forgot to do the vegetables for that. Never mind. Plan B. Plan B. Oh, I know why. Because I'm having broccoli with it. Duh. So I didn't need the second lot of vegetables, did I? Okay, that makes sense. However, onions ready for another meal. And now, you know what always amazes me about slow cooking onions? They just taste so good, don't they? All right, so Kimmy's saying she watched The Watcher. Do you see all of it or just part of it? I recommend not watching it on your own. So I got some frozen broccoli here. And that's broccoli, really good for your Jody, iron, and all sorts of stuff, right? And what I did was I bought the whole head and then I just froze it into sort of about 3 spears at a time. All right, so that's going to cook down quite a bit. I've got one of those kitchens where I cannot use the air fryer and the microwave at the same time, which is why you see me doing what I'm doing. All right, so now then, we're going to make a sauce for the beef. So we're going to start with a little bit of sesame oil that I've got. Definitely need to buy some more of that. I'm going to put in a little bit of Holstein sauce. Good stuff. Come on. Works. Yep. I'm going to put in a little bit of HP Fruity, which will give it the caramelization. Give it the sweetness. Put in some soy sauce. Put in the rest of the orange. A little bit of seasoning. Not too much. And what have I forgotten here? Anything? Got a feeling I'm missing something. What else could I add into here? All right, so thank you, Jody. Jody's reminding us that broccoli helps fight inflammation. And I have to be careful of that because of my mastectomy. Anything I do that helps lower that is a good thing. I think I'm going to throw a little bit of that wine stuff in here. So this is the wine broth, beef broth with wine. Just a little bit of that to add to the taste. Yeah. Warm this up. So what we have is a very simple meal, but we cook two at the same time. While I'm eating the beef, with the potato on top, the beef pie. What do I call it? I keep missing the name. Bake. The beef bake. How come I can't remember that? The beef bake will be cooking as well while I eat. So will my dessert. All right. They'll both be going into the oven at the same time. And then by the time I finished eating, I have another meal for later in the week. But I also, actually, I have two meals, right? I'll probably put them in mason jars, divide them up that way. And I also have tonight's meal, which is crispy beef on broccoli. So quite honestly, pretty simple to do in an hour. And I've got dessert for the whole week if I want it, because that dessert will, I'll probably quarter it or even just one big, scoop a day is what I will have. And I've still got vegetables for the week that I haven't used. So pretty easy stuff. So to plate it, I'm going to put the broccoli in first. Where did I put the broccoli, people? It's here somewhere, right? It's over there somewhere. That's where it is. So, now, to make it easy to eat, I'm going to cut the broccoli up a bit so that it's sort of easy to eat. So just cut it into bite-sized pieces. And the stalk has got plenty of goodness in it, so don't throw it away. So there we go. We've got the broccoli to start with. I'm going to put the beef on top. I'm going to put half the beef. Because, do you agree that's plenty of meat? All right. And then I'm going to put the sauce on top. Now, I've been cheating all the way down the line here without realizing it because I know that that is a complete meal for me. All right. No problem at all. So what am I going to do with the leftover pieces of beef, crispy beef? And I keep them for a snack. Or add them to another meal. That's good. What did we coat them with? That's good. All right. So there we go. Dinner, snacks, more dinner, and dessert for the week. And we did it in an hour. So can you see when I was cutting vegetables, cut a little bit extra. I've just got leftover vegetables in water. I can use them anytime this week. And there we got it. Very simple, very tasty. And I'll see you on Sunday. This is DearMamaSal saying, brought the cubes on a special. Thought it would do 2 meals and it's done 4. I'm happy with that. That's good use of the food. Remember to add your meat as an addition, not as the main part of the meal. All right? So wish me luck. I'm going to enjoy it, I'm sure. Bye-bye for now. Thanks for your help, everybody.